Black magic removal is the process of diagnosing, cleansing, and protecting a person from seer and related spiritual harm. Full, permanent immunity is not possible, but strong, ongoing protection is. The path looks like this. Diagnose quickly. Remove what's present through ruqya and targeted cleansing. Maintain daily salat, dhikr, Quran, wudu, and use vetted protective taweez for hizar. The reality of protection against black magic. What full protection really means. People often ask whether complete, forever protection exists after black magic removal. The short answer is no, because black magic has many delivery routes and styles, so no single shield blocks every method at all times. Protection that really works means reducing vulnerability so attacks struggle to land, and if they do, their impact is weaker and shorter. This aligns with guidance that total immunity isn't achievable, while disciplined spiritual habits and vetted tools can make future harm far less likely. Balancing faith, effort, and tools. Protection lives at the intersection of consistent worship, clean daily habits, and legitimate spiritual tools. Daily salat, regular Quranic recitation, dhikr, and staying in wudu build a personal shield. Targeted support, such as Quranic talismans, spiritual hizar, and healing formulas, helps reinforce that shield. Tools assist. They don't replace prayer, sincerity, or ethics. When these elements line up, people feel lighter, sleep more peacefully, and notice fewer sudden dips in health, mood, or livelihood. Black magic removal methods and outcomes. Ruqya and Quranic healing practices. Ruqya is the foundation of black magic removal. It centers on the recitation of Quranic verses and prescribes supplications to break harmful bindings and cleanse negative spiritual influence. Structured treatment usually begins with spiritual diagnosis, then focused recitation, followed by ongoing guidance for home practice. Progress depends on consistency and following the healer's instructions. Many clients describe calmer sleep, clearer thinking, and a return of barakah in day-to-day matters once the ruqya routine stabilizes. Talismans, taweez, and spiritual hizar. Quranic talismans and taweez are used to support protection and, with permission of Allah, to counter recurring attacks. Properly prepared amulets apply selected verses in line with the case. Alongside these, a spiritual hizar forms a protective circle. Think of it as layered defense. Your worship is the inner layer. Hizar and taweez add outer layers that make it harder for hostile work to reach you again, especially when a previous delivery method has been blocked. Cleansing, clearing, banishing, and elimination. Removal involves clearing what was sent and cleaning where it attached. Treatment can include ruqya recitation, spiritual water, healing oils, and prescribed routines at home. The goal is to cut the line, wash the residue, and stabilize the person's state so recovery holds. When cleansing is thorough, people notice fewer intrusive thoughts, less heaviness in the body, and a home atmosphere that feels quieter and safer. Why complete immunity is not possible. Many methods and delivery routes of black magic. Black magic reaches victims through many channels. Rituals with entities, talismans directed at finances or relationships, and even physical ingestion-based methods have distinct mechanics. Because each style uses its own pathway, a shield that blocks one method doesn't automatically block another. This is why protection must be ongoing and layered rather than assumed once and done. Risks of repeat attempts by different magicians. There is also the human factor. Once someone pays a magician and sees results, they tend to use the same person again, asking for stronger work if the target improves. If that channel gets blocked, an aggressor might seek a different practitioner who uses a different route, so vigilance matters even after a successful removal. What protection can and cannot stop. Well-built protection can stop repeat attacks that depend on the same mechanism, and it can blunt or delay new attempts to give you time to respond. It cannot promise universal immunity across all methods, times, and contexts. The practical goal is resilience. Keep your spiritual baseline high and your protective layers active so problems are rarer, weaker, and shorter. Building stronger ongoing protection. Daily prayers and Quranic recitation routine. Daily salat anchors the heart and steadies the mind. Regular recitation, especially protective chapters like Al-Falaq and An-Nas, is repeatedly highlighted in practice-based guidance. A simple cadence helps. Recite morning and evening. Keep verses playing softly at home. Read with presence. These habits stack over time and form living protection that moves with you. Dhikr and staying in wudu. Dhikr keeps the tongue and heart engaged in remembrance and creates a state that hostile work struggles to enter. Staying in wudu adds a layer of purity that supports mental clarity and reduces spiritual noise. People often describe feeling lighter, less irritable, and more focused when these two habits settle in as daily norms. Using protective talismans for enhanced safety. Protective talismans with Quranic verses can be prepared for personal safety, home protection, or to target known attack routes. These are best used with guidance after diagnosis, so the selection matches the issue. Combined with prayer, dhikr, and wudu, they make it harder for returning work to take hold, especially where a specific delivery has been neutralized. Recognizing signs that urgently need cleansing. Patterns in health, mood, and livelihood. Watch for clusters rather than isolated blips. Unexplained health dips that don't respond to normal care. Sudden swings in income or relentless job problems. Mood crashes that arrive out of nowhere and spread like fog. When patterns form across these areas, a spiritual check is wise. Relationship and home disturbances. Repeated arguments without clear triggers. Heavy tension in the air, restless sleep, frequent nightmares, and a house that feels loud even when it's quiet. Pets staring at nothing. Children afraid of certain rooms. These are common signals in case histories and deserve prompt attention. When symptoms suggest urgent ruqya, if you notice sharp spikes like oppressive chest pressure, recurring sleep paralysis, or sudden aversion to worship, don't wait. Begin ruqya routines, keep protective verses close, and seek formal diagnosis so treatment can start. Fast action shortens the arc of harm. Family and home protection considerations. Safeguarding a spouse in marriage. Targeted work often aims at marriage, sowing suspicion and silence. Build shared routines. Recite together in the morning. Keep a small set of agreed du'as for tense moments. Wear or place protection items in ways that align with guidance after diagnosis. Unity itself becomes a shield. Protecting children and the home. Children benefit from gentle recitation near bedtime, a calm room free from spiritual clutter, and clear family rhythms. Homes feel different when Quranic sound is part of the soundscape. Add a dedicated protection point near entrances to set the tone for who and what comes in. Practical steps for household spiritual hygiene. Keep regular adhan and Quran recitation in living spaces. Use spiritual water or oil as instructed after diagnosis. Clear clutter and remove suspicious objects that arrive before symptoms. Maintain wudu where possible and keep night routines consistent. When to seek a black magic removal expert. What a spiritual diagnosis involves. Diagnosis assesses whether black magic, evil eye, or jinn activity is present, and if so, how it was delivered and where it is binding. This guides selection of ruqya verses, protective hizar, and any talismans or home routines. A clear diagnosis prevents wasted effort and mismatched tools. Questions to ask a removal expert. What delivery method is most likely involved in this case? Which verses and routines should be prioritized at home? What protection items fit this diagnosis and why? What timeline is realistic based on severity and compliance? Cost commitment and realistic expectations. Treatment length varies with severity and compliance. Some programs run for weeks. Harder cases can span months. Pricing reflects depth of work, bespoke preparation, and continued guidance. Expect clear instructions and check-ins. Expect work on your side too. Spiritual protection is built, not bought. Frequently asked questions. How do I turn off black magic? Start with spiritual diagnosis, begin targeted ruqya, and cleanse with spiritual water or oil as advised. Keep protective verses active at home, and add a hizar or an appropriate taweez if indicated. Consistency breaks links and prevents quick reattachment. How to prevent yourself from black magic? Maintain daily salat, recite al-falaq and an-nas morning and evening, keep dhikr frequent, stay in wudu, and use vetted protective talismans after diagnosis. This layered approach makes attacks harder to land and weaker when they do. How to cure black magic permanently? Permanent immunity isn't possible. Cure means removal plus ongoing protection. Clear what was sent, then keep routines alive so new attempts have little grip. Think resilience and maintenance, not one-time invincibility. How to identify black magic on a person? Look for clustered patterns, health issues without explanation, sudden relationship fractures, persistent nightmares, unusual aversion to worship. When multiple signs stack, seek a spiritual diagnosis to confirm and map the route of removal. How to know who has done black magic? The priority is diagnosis and removal, not revenge. Identifying a sender is often less reliable than people expect and can fuel more harm. Focus on clearing the work, fortifying protection, and restoring peace at home. Summary takeaway. Black magic removal works as a cycle. Diagnose precisely. Remove completely. Protect daily. Full immunity isn't the target. Strong, living protection is. Keep salat, Quran, dhikr, and wudu close, and use appropriate talismans after diagnosis so black magic removal holds and future attempts struggle. Next step. If patterns suggest spiritual harm, book a diagnosis and start a consistent routine today.